We're on a slope
I
here.
love the way you know how to hold the angle of that. When I do hold mine up, which is just normally the camera, I never quite know which angle's to getting me in the left or right frame. But anyway, practice.
Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. I don't know what he was talking about. I'm out on another exploration, as you can see, with the lovely Nigel Sadler, and we are in Kent. We are up on the North Downs, on the Wealden Way, did you say? What was it?
Was it North Downs Way?
North Downs Way, there we go.
Long distance footpath.
With a view, terrific view behind us, and very changeable weather. When we arrived at the car park, which is, if I just turn the camera there, we had a bit of sunshine, we had some sandwiches, which was very nice, and now the darker clouds approaching, and also the colder weather, the temperature has dropped. Yes. What are we here for?
We're going to try and find the remains of two megalithic tombs, once long barrows, now just the stone chambers that were left.
Megalithic tombs on the North Downs. That's new to me, so that's fantastic. We're going to go down this little track here, which is part of that North Downs Way.
Yep,
Shall we?
Should be about a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slope here.
Careful.
But do join us as we go on with my little Kent exploration. Our little walk to these megalithic tombs, Mr. Sadler,
Yes.
is taking us through this charming little avenue of saplings.
On the North Downs Way, so it's signposted.
And you can really see the colours of the autumn now really shining through, although it's not a shining day, but I do like this time of year with the leaves on the floor and the browns and yellows and oranges and
Crunching and swishing through. You can probably just about pick up the sound of leaves being kicked as we walk.
Now let's talk a little bit about what we're going to see. This is on the end of a ridge, isn't it, that we're positioned?
We're on an escarpment which goes down to the west of where we are. We've got cliffs to the east of us at the moment on the much higher ground. We're actually on a slope sort of descending between those 2 points at the moment, and somewhere along here we're going to find the remains of two long barrows. All that survives now are the large stones that are at the end of a long barrow, normally but not always the eastern end.
And these would have been under the soil that you would see in a long barrow.
Well, they'd be built on ground level originally, but the long barrow is a great long length of earth or whatever the local material is, chalk or whatever, built out in a long
Sausage,
yes.
Our path has taken us very dangerously adjacent to a very fast part of the A229, I think.
Well, there's hardly any path here.
Yes,
We're
it's
going
just
down to less than a metre from the carriageway.
It's just a track, yes.
To mix my metric and imperial.
What we have just walked across was the old original road, which is now closed, and the strange thing is it is actually signposted along this very dangerous little bit, which is quite amazing. Oh, that's better. We've got out from the road.
Yes, a bit quieter.
Ducked down a little side bit, which is actually marked as the North Downs Way, which is rather good. And behind us in the far distance you might just make out the white impression of a quarry, and I think we're parked somewhere around there.
We're just above that, really, yes.
Yes. But never mind that, in front of us is our quarry, so to speak. See what I did there?
Yes, yes.
It's somewhat into the sunshine, and I apologise for that, and slightly inaccessible, sadly, thanks to these iron railings that are around it. We have Kit's Coty burial mound. Well, the megalithic tombstones of it.
Nobody knows why it's called Kit's Coty. Perhaps Coty could be cottage, as in a bit of a joke that this is like a miniature house.
Yes, I mean you could, and Coty is maybe a slurred accent of the Kentish accent, Coty. It's an old
possibly.
cottage.
Kits, nobody's quite certain what that is, other than it's something connected to the tribes around here back in pre-Roman times, but this is megalithic, so
right, yes, long
whatever this was called, there's no reference back, because we're many different peoples away,
yes, of course,
in time and culture.
So in structure, what are we looking at then?
Well, essentially it is the east end of a burial mound, which you can perhaps get some impression of when we put the camera around and have a look a bit further, which goes westward. And this is the entrance that would have been into the burial area where the collective remains would have been put.
Yes.
So if you've ever been to a other English long barrow, this would have been at one end, not necessarily the entrance. Sometimes the entrances were from the side.
Oh, like at the Bellis Knapp.
That is
which is another one. That's in Gloucestershire.
Yes.
There's a cobweb right in front of my face here. Thanks. Just shows people haven't looked through for a long time. One of the interesting things I think about lots of monuments that one goes to at different periods in time, if I just bring the camera back out here, is we're looking at what must have been the stone that sealed the entrance.
Yes.
That's the middle stone between the two outer ones. And what's fascinating there, obviously in 1886 these railings weren't here, or if they were you could get through them.
Courtesy of English heritage.
Courtesy of English heritage, yes. Is the graffiti that people place on them. Now, you know, most people think of graffiti as a horrible thing, but when it's 1886, 1885 maybe that is, and what have you, it's fascinating that people have come here and bothered.
And they do it in a serif fonts, complete with all the little serifs. It's like copperplate, well, not copperplate handwriting, but, you know, proper Times New Roman.
Yes.
Done with a chisel.
If you're going to do it properly.
Yes.
Which is rather nice. Chalked on there is Sam the Man, which doesn't have the same
Wendy loves
authenticity.
David.
Yes, exactly.
Well, them, but
the middle stone there, just to sort of finish off our thoughts on the tomb itself. The tomb, from what I understand and what you told me, constructed over many years, not just in one go, and you shove all your dead and buried in there, or unburied, I suppose they are.
Yes.
And then at some point, it's sealed, but sealed after generations.
Yes. The theory is that these sites are used for ceremonial purposes, probably regularly on an annual basis for centuries and sometimes millennia. So those in your family or tribe that have died throughout the year, you would, once they had probably been defleshed, because depending on which system you were using, whether you were leaving them outside or whatever, you'd bring what was left of them to a central location where you may have the equivalent in modern days, a family vault.
Yes.
Where you could put them in. And this is the sort of place that would be kept back in the Middle Stone Age.
But what's fascinating to me is that this goes on and on and on, and then at some point they decide enough is enough,
and it's sealed up.
And it's sealed up and left, and they don't do it again. Extending this way by some distance, which we reckon it's going to run to, it'll disappear into the background. But based on what we've seen from other long barrows, it's possible to work out that the barrow itself, where nothing was buried in, was just earth, went right back to where Nigel is there. We're off to have a look at a flat pack version of Coty, which is another one of these, but it's tumbled down. It's a little bit further along, so we're going to go to that next. But for the moment, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, become a patron and all of that. But join us in the second part of this two-part tomb exploration before it gets too cold and windy. Take care. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.